Hi, welcome to Call Your Mom. And we don't have to call. We're here.
Hi.
Hello.
I love it when we're together.
It's great.
That's better than having to call your mom.
It's easier because we are not technically savvy with technology. We're not savvy with technology. Yep.
Is that what not being technically savvy means?
Well, yeah, I guess we could also, you're not technically savvy, like, technically speaking, you're not savvy.
Oh, I see.
But then also technologically savvy. Words.
So you may have noticed we didn't do a podcast for like 3 weeks.
It's been a minute. We've been busy.
Okay, so there is a reason. One, we're technically not savvy about technology. So we did try to do one the last time we were together. Not so great. But
I don't think did we release that?
I don't remember.
Oh, we did.
Did we release the bad one?
It's not bad.
Anyway. So Mom is coming off March Madness.
Mm-hmm.
And the other day I was so tired and I was like, why am I so cranky? Why am I so tired? And I went back and looked at my schedule. I worked 16 games in 17 days.
Well, so there was a day where you brought it upon yourself. Now, this is an interesting thing. You didn't have to do this, but they were doing, for anybody who doesn't know, with the women's bracket this year, they were doing games at UCLA and USC. And how many games is that in one day? It was like 8 games in one day?
No, it was 2 one day, 2 the next day, 1, but in different venues with different teams. So 8 teams total.
So 8 teams total, and some of those games are the same day across town. And usually what you would do is there'd be 2 reporters.
Right.
And you took it upon yourself to do all of those games alone.
Right. So sometimes I go back and I think, what was I thinking? But of course, my first response would be, it never occurred to me not to do that, because I was like, oh, I can see number 1 seed USC and number 1 seed UCLA and do all their games. Of course, I want to try to do that. So fun fact, the way my contract works with ESPN, I'm on an unlimited contract. So I don't get paid $1 more to do all these games.
Yeah.
I do all these games out of love.
For the love of the game.
It really is for the love of the game. And it was incredible. I will say this, tragic, literally, I cried and I was up all night after this happened. It was really, really upsetting. I was at the game where JuJu Watkins, just one of my favorite young players, tore her ACL.
Yeah.
It was awful, just absolutely awful. And that was tough.
ACL tears are tough. But you can come back from those now.
Yes, for sure. You can.
We have a great friend, Andrea Hootie.
Yeah.
And didn't she help rehab, was it AZ?
She helped Paige Bueckers, AZ Fudd. I think Andrea Hootie, she's the performance coach for UConn women's basketball. And we knew her really well from Kansas basketball.
Yes.
So we've known her for about 15 years. Really one of the best performance coaches in the country.
That's 2 of the best players in the country right now. Both had ACL tears and then both ended up winning championships.
Triumphant return. So
huge.
yes.
So shout out Hootie.
Yeah, shout out Hootie. Kelly Dormandy is the strength and performance coach for USC.
Mm-hmm.
And so she will do a great job with JuJu. Yeah. I have no doubt. She's really good. I really think Kelly's great. So
ACL tears are different than they used to be.
Yeah.
It used to be...
You can come back faster. It used to be your career was over. So anyway, and then we went on to Spokane for the regional final where, again, I could have just done one side of the bracket, but again, I volunteered to do 2 because I feel like it helps me see all 8 teams, because whoever wins, I'm going to be covering down the road. And so I like to prepare. So again, I did both brackets there. So anyway, mom's a little tired, but...
And you have encyclopedic knowledge of these college basketball teams now, which is great.
Which is amazing.
But you already did as well.
I did, but I love it so much. I love it so much. So like one of my favorite stories is I got to cover Southern women's basketball, and one of their players is a childhood friend of Angel Reese. They grew up together playing forever in Baltimore.
I helped you figure this one out, actually.
Yes.
You
did the research. You were talking to me about it. Yeah. And you were like reading stuff to me, and I was driving from USC to UCLA, and you were reading me research information, and you're like, oh, and she grew up playing in Baltimore with Angel Reese. I was like, what? And so I texted Angel, and she sent me the cutest message. Maybe we'll share it here on the podcast for her.
She sent you like a video message, right?
Yes, and it was so cute and so sweet. And so I got to play it for that gal, and she was just touched. And then when they lost, unfortunately, she was coming through the handshake line, and I got to just give her this big hug. And I hope that made her NCAA tournament special in some way. But anyway, I love it. It's just so fun to see these young women achieve their dreams. Mm-hmm. And this was really a special Final Four for me because you got to come. I think it's the first time you've come to the Final Four since you were in high school, which was
2012, probably. 2012.
You haven't come to the Final Four for 13 years?
I don't think so.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a while. Because you graduate high school and then you have to go do stuff. You can't just... Well, apparently you can't just run off and go to the Final Four. So I don't know what I'm talking about. I could have done this anytime. But I was happy to come this time because we had our first... Do you want to talk about it?
You talk about it.
No. Well, because you came up with the name.
Oh, okay. So our foundation that we started, the Joy Us Foundation, Joy plus Us, to bring joy to people going through hard times with health and cancer because of our journey. Yep. And so we awarded our first ever Joy Journey to the Women's Final Four to 2 young women. And one young woman, she wrote us this really special thank you note.
Amanda Zeno.
And it was, I literally cried because she grew up as a huge women's basketball fan and she wanted to play Division I college basketball. So she'd worked really hard, was a really great player, and then she was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia at 15 years old. Mm-hmm. And it derailed her dream, but she did walk on to the Marist basketball program, but it had always been her dream to get to a Final Four. And so it didn't happen because of her health, but we got to bring her and her dad to the Final Four this year. And you were like this unbelievable host with the most hostess.
We had 2, and then the other young girl was Blakely Thompson and her whole family. So I got to host them and spend a lot of time with them, and they were just. It's nice to meet people that are from different places and stuff because they were from the Thompsons are from West Virginia, and then the Zenos are just from Virginia.
Virginia.
There's no East Virginia or North Virginia, just West Virginia.
Yeah, but they're not from West Virginia.
I know, and then there's Virginia. But why is there a West and is it even? It's like South. I don't know.
Let's talk about geography later. Yeah. They're from Virginia.
So they're from Virginia, and then the Zeno family is from upstate New York. And when you spend a lot of time in like a bubble, you don't get to meet as interesting or new people as when you actually get to spend real time. Like I don't get to spend real time with people from Virginia who they live their whole lives up there, and it was just very nice to like sit down and chat, and we had a lot of long drives, and like just getting to know them and like hear about their lives was really fulfilling. And then Blakely was adorable.
We are in love with Blakely, and she's 7. She's still going through her leukemia treatments, and she is the most joyous, like just her spirit, and she loved us so much. She didn't want to leave.
Yeah, she kept
saying, "I want to stay with you."
She had a great time.
She had a great time. Yeah. So anyway, that was really special because and why we brought Blakely, she's really close with Coach Staley, and I thought it would be special for her to see Coach Staley and them competing. So she was very sad that Coach Staley lost. Yeah, that was hard to see. She was very sad about that. But okay, can we talk about the championship game for one more minute? Because I think there were some fun things to talk about.
Well, let's get into the games as a whole.
Okay.
So we watched both games, and I hate to be the one to say it, they're not great games in terms of enjoyment of watching because they
weren't as competitive. They
weren't very competitive, and it's not anybody's fault.
No,
it is the winning team's fault. The teams were too good.
So the first game was South Carolina, Texas. It's the 4th time they've played this season, and I really thought this was going to be like a knockdown, drag out game, and that it was going to be very, very close. And South Carolina just came out and dominated. That surprised me a little bit, not because they're not great. I just thought Texas was better. And Madison Booker, one of their young players that I really like, and Rory Harmon. It was just a hard game. And Madison got in foul trouble, 3 fouls in the first half. That was the real determining factor. But I was proud of how South Carolina played. They had some seniors that Bree Hall is one of my favorite leaders. She has been such a stalwart for them. Sanaya Fagan. Raven Johnson, their seniors. That was a really special South Carolina team. So anyway, they took care of business in the semifinal. And then I thought UCLA UConn was going to be the most competitive game, fabulous game of the tournament, and it was a 30-point blowout.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
Yeah, that was tough. Both games, I think one thing you could contribute it to is I don't think it's fair how their championships are structured, because I feel like they don't get any rest. So like if you're not really ready to, be at this high of a level of competition this consistently, like it can take anything. Like and it's also not fair because at any point you don't recover well, you hurt your ankle, like all these things can happen. It's kind of crazy.
So Gino Auriemma was very outspoken about that because the women played. So UConn played on Monday night in Spokane. Tuesday had to fly all the way to Tampa and then play Friday, and so that was a challenge. UCLA played on Sunday night and then flew, so they had a day's more rest. It didn't matter. UConn
It didn't matter.
Them.
Yeah, UConn.
So
UConn was a beast, and to beat them, how it was just, it was brutal.
It was brutal.
UCLA was good, but
I know. And so I always say a little prayer before game. Like I never care who wins. People always think that you're biased as an announcer. You like one team over the other. I really don't. I always say a little prayer that like everyone stays healthy and everyone plays to the best of their ability. So like no matter who wins or loses, that was the best version of them. Because I hurt when these young ladies lose and they are sad. That's hard. So I think what I felt bad about was that is not the UCLA team we saw all year. They are so much better than that.
Well, then they can come back.
They all can come back except for Angela Dugalich, I think.
Angela Dugalich, that's what her name.
Dugalich.
What?
Not Dugalich.
Dugalich.
But okay, can I say my favorite story from UCLA this tournament? So they have Lauren Betts, who Lauren Betts, you got to see her. So Lauren last year took a 3-week hiatus from the team because she went through a real mental health crisis. She ended up being hospitalized. And at the time, UCLA was just saying she's out for an undisclosed medical reason. And she decided to share this year in this really beautiful article on ESPN.com that she was going through mental health issues and she was hospitalized with mental health issues. That's a hard thing for, I think, young people your age to talk about and say, I needed help. I was in a bad place. And so when we were talking to Lauren about like what's been the reaction to your article, she said that it's been incredible. She's gotten so many messages and love from young people. And she's like, so she was 5 feet tall in kindergarten. So kind of why she has struggled with her mental health. She's been bullied her whole life.
Yeah. Like
horrifically bullied because she's super tall. Right now she's 6'7", was 5 feet tall in kindergarten. So from the time she's 4 years old, she's just bullied.
Yeah.
And it all caught up to her. But anyway, she said, I feel like I'm watching my younger self heal through this process. And that just made me cry. We were in the meeting with her and I was just like bawling. Isn't that powerful?
That's big. There's a lot of stuff about that, about how you get there's a bunch of different ways to say it, but essentially like you got to protect your inner child. There's a lot of inner child work that can be done. And so, your inner child is the one that kind of took all the beatings, and then you're now the adult taking care of them. So it's very powerful.
It was powerful.
She talked about that.
Yeah, so she said, I'm watching my younger self heal. And then she's gotten a lot of DMs from people that say, you talking about this and asking for help has helped save my life.
Yeah.
Think how powerful that is, that her sharing her story might help other people when they're down and when they need help. So anyway, that's
just I think everybody needs to kind of understand that, like, when people do talk about these things, it's super scary.
It's vulnerable.
And yeah, people need to highlight it because it's hard to do. So it's brave that they're doing it. And then other people need to hear that, especially it's probably some little girl that's getting bullied for being 5 foot, and to find out that eventually you'll get through it. That's huge.
Right. So anyway, that was powerful and maybe one of my favorite moments of this tournament.
Yeah.
Getting to share her story more. She's a lovely young lady. And then I think the other two other things. So then we get to the championship game.
Another blowout.
Another blowout that I did not see coming. I didn't see it coming.
Gino was on a warpath, and he succeeded.
I mean, that UConn team, I don't think we give them enough credit for their defense. So can I say a few stats that your eyes won't glaze over and you'll be like, oh my God, Mom's saying stats?
I can't promise that my eyes won't glaze over, but I will be present.
So Sarah Strong is a freshman on UConn. You know Sarah Strong.
Okay.
You met her parents in the tree the other day.
Yes, I did. I'm sorry.
Yes. So Sarah Strong is a freshman, and she had 90 steals and 65 blocks this year. I think coming into this game, the one thing I underestimated or maybe didn't give enough credit to was UConn's defense this year. Their defense was exceptional. She was the linchpin for that defensive. God, they were like an amoeba, like all over the court. Caitlin Chen, just this unbelievable story. Can I tell one Caitlin Chen story?
I don't know why you keep asking me to tell a story.
Because sometimes you're like, oh, you talk about the sports too much, but I don't want to.
I don't see you talk about the sport. Okay, this is we'll have this conversation. Finish your story, then we'll talk about it.
Okay, so Caitlin Chen is this incredible story. She played at Princeton. She's 5'8". She's too little, not big enough. She gets recruited, goes to Princeton. She's brilliant. And she gets Princeton to the NCAA tournament 3 straight years. She's the Ivy League Player of the Year last year. And I got to know her because she played out at Utah in the second round 2 years ago. And I'm like, who is this kid? I went into the stands. I talked to her parents. I'm like, I'm obsessed with Caitlin Chen. Fast forward, last year, they were put in the Iowa region that I covered. So I got to cover Caitlin Chen against Caitlin Clark. And again, I'm like, oh my gosh, Caitlin Chen's amazing. I'm obsessed with her. The Ivy League, you can't stay for your extra COVID year, so she ends up grad transferring to UConn. Mom put out a tweet when she transferred, oh my gosh, Caitlin Chen is going to make a huge impact to UConn. I put that out 9 months ago. And all she did was help them win a national championship here. So, hello, I knew how special Caitlin Chen was. And help lead UConn. And then Paige Bueckers, last but not least.
Yep. Great.
And AZ Fudd. Let's talk about the two of them. They
great.
both overcame ACLs that we talked about a few minutes ago. They both had moments in their career when they weren't sure that they were ever going to get back to this level.
And now they are.
And here they are.
And now Paige is going number 1 in the draft?
Probably. I think so. We've got the draft on Monday, so probably.
That's a Monday. That's a quick turnaround. There's just... Whoever's doing all this scheduling, who are you? And why are you so bad at it? You're doing a terrible job. Who do we know? Do we know them personally? We do. Oh, we do. Well, do better.
It's hard. Yes, we can be better with scheduling. It's also hard. They used to.
I'm armchair quarterbacking. Okay, I don't know anything. I know nothing. I don't know how scheduling works. We haven't done a podcast in 3 weeks. I'm not great at scheduling. So, but. I am without any power or understanding of what your job is and how hard it is, giving you flack. I apologize that you're not better at your job, so I can't do that. Ha! I tricked. You thought I was going to say sorry.
No, they can do better on the scheduling. There's some challenges. I will say this. So they used to have the WNBA draft the day after the championship game.
Which is ridiculous.
So we've gotten better.
That's okay. We're getting better. This always happens to women. It's like, here's a carrot. We wanted a meal. Here's a carrot. You're getting closer to a meal. I get it. Oh,
wow. That's powerful. Yeah. That's so true.
Yeah. It's fine.
Let's give the women the whole meal. I think is the moral of this story.
Let them eat. That's a thing.
Okay. Let's talk about you. I feel like I've talked a lot about sports.
Okay. We can talk. We always talk about sports. You act like I hate talking about sports. It's not that I hate talking about sports. It's that sometimes the talking about sports ends with me just sitting here for 10 minutes.
Right, like I dominate it.
And I'm just staring off into the distance like, oh.
Okay, can this be my last sports thing?
Okay.
I do have one more.
All right.
One more.
Yep.
Please hold. Let me find it.
Yes.
The ratings came out, and I thought this would be just a quick little interesting conversation because I think you have a good take on this. So in 2021, the women's basketball championship game got 4.1 million viewers.
Lots of people.
That was 4 years ago.
Yep.
5 years ago? I'm bad at math. 2022, 4.8 million. 2023, 9.9 million. I think a couple of things happened. Number one, it's the first time the game was on ABC. That's a huge platform, free TV, don't have to have cable. A lot more viewers, a lot more casual viewers. We also had Caitlin Clark that year. Angel Reese, LSU wins the national championship, upset, big stories. 2024 is the year that Caitlin's on her ascent. All the records, everybody's fascinated with her. Yep. Still LSU, Angel is ascending, 18.9 million. This year, 8.5 million. So there was a drop off from last year. The game was not as competitive. But I will say this, from 2021 to 2025, double the viewership. We're on a good path.
Ebbs and flows.
And you had a good point. We talked about this earlier, and you made a great point.
I'm like, I don't know how good of a point it is, but I think
I think it was a brilliant point.
I think the big thing is the NIL contracts and everything, because after what was that, 2023, all of these big companies come in with these star players like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, and then they just start pushing the brand and pushing and getting awareness out there. And I think that's, it shows the NCAA needs to do a better job of just like promotion for the women's tournaments, I think.
You're right. They do, but they have gotten better.
They've gotten better, but it's
the mainstream. It's the big brands.
But then you get Nike constantly putting out Caitlin Clark info and stuff. And then
JuJu Watkins.
And JuJu Watkins stuff and Angel Reese stuff. And I think that She's Reebok. But I think that kind of blows them up to make them a little bit more popular, and they get more traction on social media and stuff. And then, of course, everybody goes where the fire is, because then ESPN's like, okay, well, we're putting Holly on all of her games. She's going to track her tournament run and everything. Like, it's just that big push from these outside companies that I think really started, because that's why everybody and their grandma was like, oh, Caitlin Clark. I hope those companies start doing that more with other players.
They are. They are. Like JuJu right now is in every ad. Paige is in every ad. Flage, someone that we really love, is in every ad. I think they're doing it.
But I think that, they just need to keep that momentum.
I think you were really onto something, because I think we saw this nexus of like, the game is getting better. We're seeing more competitive games. Caitlin, Angel, ascending. And those listening, you can't see my hands. I'm like doing graph movement. But then you also see the collision of NIL and big brands and more marketing. And it's just like this wonderful explosion of awareness.
Not to take anything away from any of the players. All the players have remained and been good and been amazing and deserve everything they're getting. But I think that just these corporations coming in and juicing up everything to make more money off them, I think that's what kind of caused more viewership to go up, because there's just more awareness as a whole.
100%. Okay, can we get to? I've been we haven't done a show for 3 weeks, and so I had 2 topics I'd been saving. Can I share those briefly?
Sure.
Okay.
While you're looking for that, I did have a question.
Okay, go.
So we're in your home.
In Tampa.
In
St. Petersburg.
And, well, don't tell me exactly where we are. But I am noticing that you have 3 separate books about Selma. There's a lot of Selma books.
Oh, yeah. I did a speaking engagement in Selma, Alabama.
Yeah.
And I got to drive across the Pettus Bridge, the George Pettus Bridge, I think it's called. And that is the famous bridge where Martin Luther King and the Civil Rights March that was happening. They were going to march from Selma to Montgomery. So I have these books on Selma because I really enjoyed being there. And I went to the Civil Rights Museum that was down there. Or I think it's the Rosa Parks Museum that's down there because of the bus boycott. And so a gentleman at my speaking engagement, he'd heard me talk about how interested I was in the Selma Civil Rights March. And so he gave me these books. So I've got 3 of them, but I've only read 1 so far, but I'd love for you to read some of these. They're wonderful.
Yeah, I will.
Don't steal them, but you're welcome to read them while you're here at my home.
Well, I can't.
You can take one on the plane, but give it back to me. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was my topic. So I read 2 incredible things. You know, I run across these little things about sons and moms that I'm obsessed with. Did you know that your baby's DNA cells live in your bloodstream for years after pregnancy and in your brain for your entire life? This phenomenon is called fetal maternal microchimerism. Mother and child are always connected in the deepest ways, always and forever. So you know how I've said to you sometimes, like, if I could turn the mom worry switch off, or if I could turn the mom, I just want to hug you switch off, I would, but I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I literally can't because your DNA is in my brain cells.
Well, half of my DNA. So this is issue number one. I appreciate this, but this is manipulative. Half of my DNA is your DNA. So this whole like, ooh, my DNA is your DNA.
Mine is yours.
Exactly.
But what that is saying is that yours lives on in me, which is not what I knew.
Mine would have lived on in you no matter what, because your DNA is my DNA.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like,
so this is some manipulation.
No, it's not, honey. Because your fetal DNA, your DNA
half
is
of it
different
is yours.
because part of it's your dad's. So your DNA is only yours, but some of
so
yours
the part
lives
that
on
is
in me.
The part that is special that's living on in you is my dad's DNA.
Is yours that is mixed with you that only you possess.
I don't know.
Honey, you're not a scientist.
But that just seems weird.
Just know.
I appreciate it, and I love it.
Just know that it made me feel good because sometimes I tell you.
I'm glad it made you feel good. I'm more just thinking about whoever wrote this. I'm like, this seems manipulative.
No, it's not manipulative. It's just, it's explaining why mothers feel so strongly and have this innately strong connection.
I mean, I just never questioned it. I just figured you guys always.
Yeah.
You grew us.
Made you. Okay. Then the other thing I ran across that I wanted to talk about today, because I thought this was so good. I think that parents, by nature, we spend a lot of time criticizing or correcting your behavior, or, hey, you need to blah, 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 blah. Yeah. 10 things your son needs to hear from you.
Oh, boy.
Number 1. Let's start at number 10. I'm going to start at the bottom. I love spending time with you. Does your mother say that to you?
Yeah, all the time. You say that on the podcast. Yeah. But that one's great. I like that.
Number 9, you are a leader. I don't think I've ever said that to you.
No. That was weird. Why would you need to say that?
Well, when you were a kid, I remember having these conversations. I used to say, don't be a follower with your friend groups. You be the leader.
But also, here's my thing. If we're just just going general, not everybody is a leader. So what if you're just giving your child
bad advice?
So
we're not sure about that one. How about this one?
I'm happy to hear it from you. I've never heard that from you. But there's some, maybe not every. You need to have follow. Some people are better at following.
But I do think you are a leader. I think you have a strong personality, and I think you tend to be the leader in your situation.
That's called being an only child and being selfish, and I'm happy to do that.
Okay.
Thank you for giving me that.
Number 8, you were made for a purpose. I don't know if I like that one. 7, I like.
See, some of these things is like, if you said it to me, I would be.
You'd be weirded out.
I would be worried that why you need to say it.
Right, but I do like this one. Number 7, I'm always here for you.
Love that. Great.
Do I say that to you?
I feel like that one should be number 1.
Do I say that to you?
Yes, you do. Well, yes, you do.
And am I always here for you?
When you're not busy.
Ouch, that hurt. But it's true. Facts.
But you're always there for me as best as you can. Life is busy. I think it's not fair to just have everybody assume that somebody's always going to be there for you. But mothers are the best at that.
Yes.
But I don't think you should.
And even when I am busy, though, I make time.
You're good.
I do.
I think that there's some. I don't like. We've talked about this a bunch. I don't like when people think that they're so important that everybody should drop stuff for them always. I think that is. You need to know that you are important to you.
Right.
But everybody is important to themselves. So give a little space.
I think what that's saying, honey, is when you need me, I'm here.
Fair.
If you need me, I'm here.
Sometimes I think I'm afraid to take up space, and I'm like, whoa. Not everybody's that important. I do have that weird little tick.
You probably got that from me, where we're like, oh no, I'm okay. Don't worry about me. Yeah, we're gonna work on taking up more space in our life. All right. Number 6, you don't have to be perfect to be loved. I don't really love that one.
What?
Why would you think you're not perfect?
No, that's good.
But to say it to you?
Yeah, because sometimes people get upset. I probably should start saying that to you.
You don't have to be right. You don't have to be perfect to be loved. I don't think I've ever made you feel like you have to be perfect to be loved. How do you feel? I shouldn't tell you how you feel.
I'm sure. Yeah, no. That's a good one.
Okay. I believe in you. That's important.
Great one. You say that one to me a lot.
Your feelings matter. I don't say that one to you.
Probably say that.
I'll work on that one more.
We'll work on that one.
You are strong and capable.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I love you no matter what.
Implied. Trash. Get it out of here.
I'm proud of you.
Good one. That's a good one. I think that some of these should also be. I should say you should be loved, despite being perfect. What is it?
You don't have to be perfect to be loved.
That's a good one. That's a good son to mom. I don't think there's a lot of like sons supporting their mothers.
Yeah,
things.
That's a great point.
You should be emotionally supportive.
We pour in, like, I'm not perfect, but we pour into you a lot.
Yeah.
And I love it when you pour into the mom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think there's a healthy, there's a balance with that. Moms are weird. You guys are. It's like a mental. I feel like being a mother is a mental health crisis because it's an insane. It's an insane thing, and like you're. Depending on where you are, like you're expected to do everything for all these people, and nobody's really checking in on you. There should just be a whole section of therapists that are just for mothers, because you need support.
More child check-ins on their moms. Hey, mom, are you okay? Do you need anything?
But
how are you?
The only issue is moms. I feel like 90% of moms will be like, "I'm fine. What do you want? What do you want?" Like I think there's a little bit of like. Right.
But what if we could start having a more normal conversation around this?
That would be good.
I think you've unlocked something.
That would be good.
Wow.
Yeah. I like that.
I love it.
Well, I had another thing I was going to say. So I wanted to give you a little shine because just a random recent thing that I've thought of is being, I'm half black. Hollywood's son is you have a black son, and you've done such a good job of ingratiating me in that culture and taking care of that, which I do especially when you live in New York. There's this thing that I learned about because in Utah, I was black, pretty much no matter what. Maybe some people would confuse me with being like Samoan or something because there's a big Samoan population, but it was always, this is a black kid. And you did a good job of making sure I understood that culture and everything. And then, when you go out to other places, there's all like colorism and not like us, it's all about, there's these mixed kids that you're not, it's not the same. Which is fair, and there's a whole bigger conversation around that. But I do want to say thank you for always you've helped me kind of be comfortable with that identity and fostered that, which I think is it's a hard thing to do, especially as a white woman with a black kid in Utah as a single parent. It's kind of tough to also be like, and here you go. By the way, these are some people for you to look up to, and these are some goals to take care of that part of things. That's a hard thing to do.
I did work really hard at that. I wanted you to have a strong identity and be proud of who you are.
Yeah.
And so I still to this day, I think I have it at home, this entire book set of famous black people who made history, scientists, astronauts, inventors. And we would read those a lot. And I wanted you to always feel very proud of your identity and connected to who you are. So. Yeah. And I'm glad that you do feel that way. That makes me happy.
There's definitely. I got to New York, and let me tell you, it's a whole ball game. My identity's it's crazy. I still identify as you don't have to identify. You just are black, but it is the colorism stuff does get pretty wild. I'll never really understand that. I don't know why. I mean, I guess because I'm on one side of it, so that's why I don't understand it. But the whole red bone thing, it's weird. Anyways, we'll move on. What?
I feel like that's a whole different topic.
It is. And that's why I'm like, let's just move on. Because that's a whole
we'll get there. We can talk about that someday, but I'm not qualified to talk about it. So,
right, so one of these chaos
theories. We're organized today. Look at us.
One of these chaos theories is going to be sarcastic and mean because I was angry when I wrote it. But we're going to...
At me? Angry at me when I wrote it? Yep. Oh, God. Let's see what it says. What's your favorite TV show?
That one was...
Right now?
That one was just laziness.
Oh.
No. What do you got?
Well, right now, my favorite one I've been watching is White Lotus. I just finished that. I liked it a lot.
I can't talk about it yet because I haven't seen it.
Don't do a spoil alert.
I think...
Emily in Paris.
It's frustrating
Love Emily in Paris.
With shows that get spoiled, though, because now it's getting long enough, which is fair, but it's getting long enough after the show coming out that I'm starting to see things pop up. And so it's getting a little dicey to be on any social media because I've seen one picture, and I didn't get a good glance at it, but I was like, oh. And so it gets tough when you don't.
We can't be responsible for you not watching it on time.
Okay.
What's your favorite TV show right now?
Yeah, I've been on the White Lotus kick. I'm trying to think what other show. Oh, there was Severance, and there was something else. Oh, and Reacher. Reacher's the best show on TV.
What is it?
You haven't watched Jack Reacher? Have you watched any of the...
Is that the John Krasinski one?
No, that's Jack Ryan.
Jack Ryan. That is
Reacher is the one where it's the big guy, Alan Richardson.
Oh, did we watch that together?
No,
Christmas?
We watched Cross over Christmas. Cross is awesome.
Oh, Cross is good.
I
liked Cross a lot.
I have been coming to terms talking about identity with I love dad TV. Like just like the most poorly written action movie stuff. I think it's because just growing up, that's what I watch. I like Predator and all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying it's poorly written. That's wrong to say, but like just the cliche dad stuff. Like I was always big on those. That's
oh my god, this is the sad. No, let's do it. This is the sassy chaos theory. Letting your child ask for time, consider their feelings, maybe. That's because I was like, let's do the podcast. Let's do it right now. And then you started washing the dishes and you wouldn't come and do it. And I was like, let's go.
Yeah, because the dishes, I needed to do the dishes.
All right.
And then
I should never complain about the child washing the dishes. Let's just be real. Okay.
B.
These were my two. And I'm just going fast right now because I feel like we've gone long. So I want to hustle.
It's 36 minutes.
Yeah, that's perfect. I want to be around 30 every time. Did we never talk about this before?
No, I want to be around like 45.
Okay. Mine was favorite April Fool's joke.
Don't like them. They're stupid. I hate April Fools. It's a dumb holiday, and people who participate in it are mean.
I've pulled a lot of I'm pregnant with my friends, or like we've done some pregnancy humor. We've done some. I'm not really great at them, but I do like to attempt them and see if you can catch people off.
It might be because I'm bad at it. I just hate. Okay. I think. Well, we got.
And then my last one was Dream Merchant.
Well, we don't have to do all of the chaos theories.
But I did want to say this one.
You were looking for the Dream Merchant.
I wanted to do the Dream Merchant. So I was doing an interview with Dawn Staley this weekend at the Final Four, and she said, I consider myself a dream merchant. And that just resonated with me. I dang near started crying when she said it, because she is trying to help the dreams of the young women that come to her program come true. And some of them will come true at the WNBA draft on Monday. And I just loved that idea of being a dream merchant, and maybe we could. I think we are doing that with our foundation, is trying to create some dreams for other people to come true. But I just wanted to give Dawn Staley a shout out, because she does a really good job of building up these young women, and I think she's special. So I just thought being a dream merchant was really important and powerful. So shout out Dawn Staley. I think that's an incredible idea.
I like that. Here's what I'm thinking now. Merchants it's a business. So she a business of like buying and selling dreams?
No, she's in the business of making dreams come true.
No.
Yes.
What?
You're in a business of making dreams come true.
See, I'm not trying to be negative. I do love that, and I think that's amazing. I'm more just now focused on the wording.
Honey, it's a beautiful term.
It's a beautiful...
Don't ruin this
and I'm
for
not
me.
going to ruin anything.
Goodbye. Thank you for joining us. We're back. We promise we're going to be like unbelievable with our technology next time. Right? We're getting... Steps are getting closer to
We've been doing this for a year, and we have varying levels of quality and ability with technology, and it's just going to...
But we are trying, and we're going to get better for the next time.
Yeah. You know what?
Call your mom.
Call your mom. See ya. Hang up the phone.